Soup.
It's funny that we're talking about the whale because I actually was reading up on that before because I saw that like on Twitter and I was like, oh, what is this? Interesting stuff.
I'm just waiting for you to find a way to relate it back to Teddy.
No.
Okay.
I mean, that's too easy.
Right.
Yeah. No. It actually, I mean.
That's why he's a bit on the pod.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with newborn child.
No, newborn child. Well, they say weight gain, right, for parents. Sometimes happens.
Yeah, you get the dad body along with the pregnant wife, and then you just never lose it, and the wife does. That's what they say.
Right, it transfers over, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys seen Teddy recently? Has he put on a...
No, it looks good.
No, it looks good.
Even better?
Yeah, we
better shape?
It was last week we had a baseball catch.
Fucking asshole.
Oh, nice.
He was trying to do stretchers at first. Pretty funny. Can't do it like me. That's all right.
What are you, just you're a better stretcher than Teddy?
Oh, at first, yeah. Because he doesn't, with his feet, he's all confused. It's like, keep it just right at the edge.
He could do a split.
Yeah, but he's like...
Has he lost the split? Has he lost
Like, let me just tell you...
He'll never lose that split.
No.
It's too much of his personality.
It's going to hit him like a ton of bricks.
Teddy, he loves if there's like a party environment where he can just break it down in the middle of the floor and whip out the split.
Yeah. Well, let me just tell you just real quick about Teddy's baseball IQ. I mean, he was stretching. He was pitching in high school or, freshman and whatnot. And they go, Teddy, go from the stretch. What the stretch is in baseball, not doing your actual, like...
Pitch from the stretch.
So,
you don't wind up.
Yeah.
You
don't do like the whole, like,
yeah.
if I'm doing like, you just go like this from
just
the side.
Just warming up the arm, basically.
No, it's like when a runner's on, so you're not too late to the plate.
Right.
You're quicker.
Right.
Got
so
it.
they told him go from the stretch. And he starts stretching out his, triceps and everything, and everyone's just laughing. So when I say that, Teddy is more flexible than me, but like, I know how to, like a Rizzo, you back up and get the scoop instead of, I'm a better first baseman than Ted. Let me just say that.
Okay. I thought you guys were talking about like stretching out your muscles.
Well, so you thought it was the same thing as Teddy thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a big baseball guy, too. You never knew from the stretch?
No, I thought that was just sort of like a...
Well, you went from having a catch to what it sounds like taking fielding practice.
Oh, well, we were doing some drills
there, too. What
happening
here? This was all last week?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. I am Bo Oliver, joined here today with Aaron, the Nerd Soup Monkey, and Nash.
I'm back.
And we are here to talk about the world of Hollywood. We got some new trailers, we got some movie reviews, some U.S. weekend box office, and some first looks at some indie movies that will be dropping at some of the upcoming film festivals. We've also got some beef in the Rocky universe between Rocky himself and Ivan Drago. Look at that, running it back.
Don't you think they should fight it out?
I think Rocky IV is very underrated. I think at this point it's not even underrated because most people seem to like it.
It's my favorite Rocky.
It's just, I'm a sucker for that fucking movie.
Yeah, right?
And listen to the podcast, of course, on YouTube and also on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and follow us on social media at Nerd Soup, at Bo Soup, at Nerd Soup Monkey, and at Anthony JQ Nash on all platforms. Good to be with you guys today.
Yeah.
It's the first three-man podcast we've done in a few weeks now, so looking forward to it.
You guys have been on fire lately with everything that's coming on, and, keep it up. What?
Just take the compliment.
I take the compliment.
Yeah, we're on air. This is live.
What's on fire?
Well, you've had a lot of good material to talk about, and let's not forget that Game of Thrones was your
whole bread and butter.
Yeah.
But he said it like, okay, thank you.
Well, the boys have done well.
But he said it like he's been listening week to week. It's like,
no, but I know that you guys have been working hard.
Let's see your history.
I'm sorry?
I want to see your Spotify history.
Oh, I thought you meant regular history. I was like,
that's what
oh my God. Yeah, I'm pouring
No, we're not doing that.
It ties in the Jordan Peele sweating meme.
I'm Katie Couric, right? Yeah, look at that.
Oh, wow. Crazy.
I could do interviews like that.
Yeah, just take the fucking compliment next time.
Passive-aggressive, subtle digs at people.
But yeah, it feels great to be back here. Got kind of like an adrenaline rush, but...
Yeah, you're dripping sweat.
Oh, I don't know. We're talking in a sauna.
It does get very
that's
hot
what
in
I
here.
thought you meant by we're on fire, because it's...
Oh. Yeah, but,
it's hot out, it's hot
dedication.
in here.
People don't know about the dedication. They just hear the voice, but they don't know what's going around.
They don't see the behind the scenes.
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Speaking of dedication, our long-awaited Patreon reviews will be dropping this weekend. We've actually got 3 coming up.
Yeah, because we've been on fire lately.
On fire, absolutely. So She Dies Tomorrow, our movie review. Then we've got a television review. Battlestar Galactica, which, I was watching these 2 reviews, before we upload them to YouTube. I think we did a pretty good job. And then Batman v Superman will be dropping on Monday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Does anyone want me to do anything? I could play I don't know. Want me to play something?
Yeah.
Play I don't know, a game and review it.
I think you're talking about an instrument.
Pay me $500.
If someone puts on Patreon and does the tier and pays you to play a video game, you can play the video game.
You know what have you played God of War on PS4?
No.
You can actually play that for me because I need someone to get me some game footage. Because when the new one comes out, because that's a Patreon request as well, we're gonna loop that into one review.
Yeah, but that's your shtick. I want my own game. I want somebody to say, Nash.
No, we just need the gameplay.
You offered.
Yeah, but not God of War.
It's a great game. One of the most critically acclaimed games of all time. You're shirtless, you're jacked, you have a fucking warhammer.
The character, not you.
Yeah, I've been working on it a little bit.
You don't get the warhammer.
Also, he comes back in
I thought
white
you were talking
paint.
about a different hammer. A different warhammer. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know
you know what I'm saying, baby? Ooh, my baby.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, that classic Nash.
No, I'm back. I guess. I mean, I want somebody to be like, hey, because, somebody wants me to play
Have you been playing Stray?
No, I didn't get it yet. I did not get it. I've been playing a lot of the show still. I'm on a kick right now. I'm a GM. I draft the teams, But I'm willing to, you give me the company credit card.
You sounded willing, and then you didn't sound willing.
Well, not because God of War. I feel
You're gonna love it, though. You're gonna love it. It's a great game.
Somebody's telling you to do it.
Yeah, telling all of us to do it. Your name is on the Patreon fine print. I think they actually. Well, it's so funny when people request Patreon reviews, and they're like, "I'd really love for Teddy to be on this," and I'm like, "Buddy, me too." I hope Teddy can make that work.
Yeah.
All right, and before we get to any stories on this podcast, as you know by the title, we are reviewing Nope, so we're actually just going to get into that review, and then we'll get back to the stories. And of course, if you haven't seen Nope, you can just skip ahead, because we will be getting into some spoilers, so yeah, don't look at our review. Well, don't listen. All right, Bo, take it away. Clean that up for me. So, Jordan Peele's Nope, it's his 3rd movie, and the response has been a bit divisive for reasons that I don't necessarily agree with, but a lot of fans have been chiming in, a lot of unexpected people have been chiming in about this movie, and I think the response was, it reminds me of Arrival. The trailers played it as sci-fi, alien invasion, Amy Adams is going to beat them all up, and then it ends up just being a movie about love and language. And I think for this movie, you may go into it thinking, this is just going to be epic, balls to the walls, what is Jordan Peele cooking up? To me, that it kind of still felt like that for a lot of reasons, but there's a lot of ideas, there's a lot of things that don't necessarily make sense that were frustrating fans and viewers. But for me, I think this was, Get Out's still the masterpiece. He's going to be chasing that movie for the rest of his career. But for me, this is his 2nd best movie, and there's only been 3. But so far, I think he's 3 for 3, and this is one of my top 5 movies of the year. I loved it.
Yeah, it's definitely up there for me too. And I saw a lot of people saying that, some of the I've heard that criticism too. And when we left the theater, I remember talking about you can watch this movie, and it could just be a surface level type film where you can still enjoy it and get, I think, 98% of the film. And I think there's that layer on top which you can enjoy as a movie. And then as you think about certain things and other aspects of the film, then you can start digging deeper. I think it works on both planes. And that's what I enjoy very much about it, because it's funny too, because it's been a week since we see it, just trying to think oh, what did this mean and that mean and that mean? And I always recall when Jordan Peele reads these outlandish theories and it's oh, that meant nothing. So I try not to do that for this movie, but it is a movie that I think you can enjoy on both planes, and I really enjoyed it. I agree with you, not quite to the level of Get Out, but I think it was better than Us by far. I think it's his most visually stunning film he's done, and we saw it in IMAX, and I definitely think that's a movie worth seeing in IMAX, because some of the shots were incredible, but I was more impressed with the camera work. And with that big screen and the pans and the quick movements, I thought it really created a chilling atmosphere, both in the night and in the daylight. It looked fabulous. And it just had this eerie undertones with this great score that I think technically it's his best movie.
Definitely. And Hoyt van Hoytema had a lot to do with that. And I got a little frustrated with people saying, well, that's what happens when you get Christopher Nolan's cinematographer. He's worked with other directors, and at the end of the day, Peele is still the director. So it's always going to be a collaborative effort.
Sure.
Those shots when, I guess we'll just get into spoilers, when Kaluuya's trying to evade, what did they call it? Jean jacket, right? Mm-hmm. That was the nickname for the monster. And the camera's at that low angle and looking up. It puts you right into the movie. And that's a cliche thing to say about movies. But I found it to be very bone-chilling. It's not traditionally scary in the horror sense of there's gore and there's these brutal killings, although there are some moments that really stick with you. But a lot of it was just this existential threat of, okay, this thing exists. How do we grapple with this? And do we want to monetize this situation? Do we want to make this work to our benefit? Is that the moral thing to do?
Right.
And I think the through line of all three of his films has been exploitation of people, and now he relates it to Hollywood. So I put in my Letterboxd review that it's sort of this love letter to Hollywood because the way the cast comes together, they're sort of like a film crew. They all have their different roles, where Keke Palmer's the star, Kaluuya's kind of just the director of it all, and then they have the actual cinematographer, and then they have the technical guy. Mm-hmm. But it's also a cautionary tale about the way people, the way animals deal with the exploitation of Hollywood, that it's all about getting the shot. It's all about the almighty dollar. How do we profit off of this? How do we make sure that, how do we stake our ownership claim in it all? Well, yeah. So those ideas, to me, they felt fully realized by the end of the movie.
I think the most prevalent one to me, at least, was just kind of going off of what you said, just not necessarily how do we monetize off of it and exploit a situation, but like taking what's yours. Like, this is very much happening to them. They're in the thick of it, and you see all the outside influences trying to come in and kind of exploit them. Not only them trying to exploit the situation, but the fear of them getting exploited. And I think that just ties back to even the setup with their great-great-great-grandfather.
There's another great in there.
Yeah. Being the first man shot on film riding a horse as a black man, but no one knows his name. And I think you can connect it to an array of things, but yeah, at the core of it, I think it was more of like, no, this is we take ownership of this situation, and we're not going to let anybody else try to steal it from us.
Yeah, and I think that sibling dynamic was one of the best parts of the movie, with the two characters played by Keke Palmer and Kaluuya. From that first scene, when they have to make their pitch to the commercial company. And Kaluuya's more shy, he's reserved, he doesn't have that sort of natural charisma, but he knows horse training. He's been doing the work since he was a young boy, and he knows it like the back of his hand. And then here comes Keke Palmer running in late, gives the great pitch. She's such a saleswoman, very charismatic, very easy to like, and she even plugs her other stuff. She's, I'm a singer, I'm an actor, I'm an inventor. I forget what else she said. But, the funniest moment of the scene, the funniest scene in the movie is when they bring on the cinematographer character and he's got the non-electric camera and she's like, I told you he was going to bring some shit like this, and they slap five. I thought the humor, obviously he's got the comedic background from Key and Peele. He's so good at combining horror and comedy. And I think comedy's always played a role in some of the best horror movies. And he's just sort of perfected that balance.
No, it never feels out of place.
Never.
And it's always to the situation. Like, especially with that sibling dynamic, Keke Palmer, who I thought was just electric in this movie, playing off of her brother, who is, like you said, is more reserved. I think that always makes for just a fun dynamic. But you could tell they're siblings, and having those moments of levity between them, I think is just only natural. Like, if you think about going through this situation with like your sister or me or my brother, like there would be moments where we're just like, yo, this is fucking insane, and have those lighter moments where it's not just all fear and just non-stop fearing for your life, where they have these calmer moments where they can kind of be themselves.
Man, did they do a good job of portraying that sort of fear. And it creates, yes, I think, a visceral quality to those scenes, especially Kaluuya. When he's riding around on the horse, just trying to keep it all together in the face of this incredible danger.
That was my favorite sequence. I forget if it was the first or second time they meet at night, though, but when he goes into the it was like the open stables, so you can see the night sky, and he's running, he's scared, the camera's moving up in this upward direction, panning to the other side and going back, and kind of it matched like the manic, I guess, movements, or what someone in that situation, how they would be looking at it, just trying to figure out what's going on. Where is this thing, this UFO, or whatever they call them now?
Yeah, it's just right. They mentioned the change of name.
Yeah, I love so much when cinematographers can capture the human eye in the film, because I think a lot of stills were fucking gorgeous as well. But that's what I always find more impressive is the camera movement, and it can capture what that character is going through in that moment.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's like an umpire, right? A great cinematographer is when you don't notice kind of the genius of the camera movements and the different angles that they're trying to capture. And, just going to the monster, the way that it moved in the sky, it was like sort of like an aquatic creature in the sky with the ocean.
Smooth, yeah,
very smooth and very intimidating. Somebody made the point, David Ehrlich from IndieWire, the movie could have been called Don't Look Up instead of Nope. And that's one of those things where people were overanalyzing the title, not of Planet Earth, not our Planet Earth. And Jordan Peele was like, no, it's kind of the reaction I wanted to elicit from audiences.
Well,
nope.
It's the reaction of the characters, too, when they see some fucking weird shit, like when they had the fake aliens show up, which I thought was fucking hilarious when you find out it's just the kids. But it's just like, oh, nope, fuck this.
Yeah, that was the first Nope that they dropped, right?
Yeah.
And then there's a couple more. So similar to Get Out, where it's such a clever way to use the title in the context of the movie. And I thought the character of Angel Torres, the salesman from their Best Buy equivalent, played by Brenden Fraser, he was, I wanted to make the point that you would follow Kaluuya and Keke Palmer's characters into battle, and I think he kind of gets swept up in it. He gets caught up in their enthusiasm. He obviously has his own natural interest in UFOs and aliens, but I thought he provided a lot of good comic relief as sort of the dopey tech genius.
Yeah, it was a very tight cast, but I think everybody played their role remarkably well. I think he, like you said, he added a great dynamic with those two, obviously them being siblings, but I think he added a lot of those moments that provided some humor, but also just the natural intrigue that comes from that situation. Was it Michael Wincott as a cinematographer? He was absolutely, he might have been my favorite character.
He ends up being the standout character.
Yeah.
I don't know. There were a lot of good performances here, but his voice, the cryptic messages, he was just such a great presence in this movie, and he brings the team together at the end when they finally recruit him. And I loved his line about, I do one for them and one for me. So this ended up becoming his passion project. And you see the way that he meets his demise. He just can't stop shooting. He wants to get this perfect shot. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and he gets swept up in it, as so many artists have in the past, and I think that's part of the cautionary tale of filmmakers going a bit too far. Normally they end up hurting other people on the crew. In this case, it ended up he hurts himself.
Well, that was that was one of the more on the nose, I think.
Yeah. And it reminded me of, because there's so many influences here.
Yeah.
And people have been saying Jaws.
Well, yeah, that's the thing I hate because I've heard the Spielberg thing to death already and the Jaws thing, but sometimes those are just spot on and you got to run with it.
Yeah, no, I think that's the mark of a good filmmaker, is that these guys did some really cool things, and I want to put a spin on it a bit. And it reminded me of War of the Worlds in many ways, but that scene in particular, when you have the scene in War of the Worlds when the son wants to go fight. He tells his dad, Tom Cruise, listen, I need to see this for myself. So that scene reminded me of that moment from War of the Worlds. But so many great influences, Close Encounters, M. Night Shyamalan, Signs. Peele's he's a cinephile. He knows his stuff. If you've watched Keanu, you see it at the end when he puts the cat in all those iconic movies, So, like I said, his voice has become so distinct and so pronounced at this point. To only be 3 films into your career and to have already established your themes so thoroughly is very impressive.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to some of the other sequences that kind of elicited an emotion for me just sitting there watching it. The shot when, I guess it was a pseudo rodeo crowd gets pulled up there was one of the most claustrophobic feelings I've had in a theater.
Yo, that was nasty. Yeah, claustrophobia. You hit it hit the nail on the head there. You feel so suffocated. That's a situation I would never want to be in, man. It was so nasty. And I don't know, was there another alien inside of there, or was that one of the masks that maybe got caught in the windpipe?
That was one of the masks,
okay, because that freaked me out too.
Yeah.
Because it looks like just an alien chilling there, I'm the little baby, gonna eat you guys, this is... I was what the fuck is going on here?
I think that was one of the first hints I picked up on. I think it happened before the reveal that it was living.
Okay.
But it kind of reminded me of just a digestive system.
Isn't that
It's they were digesting these people.
Right, yeah, and they have the whole, accidentally ate the statue, so it gets it caught in its windpipe. Well, Steven Yeun's character ended up being one of the most fascinating supporting characters. There's not many, but just his sort of arrogance in thinking that he could tame this creature, and it goes back to the themes of the movie, the exploitation. And the way that it ties in with that traumatic event he witnessed as a kid when the Gordy the monkey loses it on set, ends up killing all of his castmates, but he doesn't kill Steven Yeun's character. So I don't know if that convinced him that there's this sort of protective aura around me where I can't be killed. I've been chosen by Hollywood to kind of continue on this legacy of exploitation for my own gain. So I think when Jean Jacket approaches him and he's looking up at it, he doesn't budge. Even in that moment, he thinks, nothing's going to happen to me, as everything around him is being destroyed, as people are getting sucked up. So the way that he met his end was, like I said, it was a great way to tie up that little subplot within this movie.
Yeah, I'm still I've been thinking about that more so, because I feel like the other parts of the movie I kind of have somewhat of a grasp on, but that one is kind of fun to play around with. I just want to note that on behalf of monkeys, me, Aaron, the Nerd Suit Monkey, would like to say that...
He doesn't represent you?
No, I mean... Was it his fault?
Right. Yeah, no, I think, definitely it wasn't.
So,
put that monkey in the fucking jungle, bro.
You exploit me by putting me on this podcast because, I'm, really good and funny and stuff. And, I don't know.
Well, you're
me nicer.
You're sentient. You're also not a monkey. It's, you're a human being. I animate the reviews.
Well, yeah.
You're pulling back the curtains here.
Just ruining it for everybody.
I didn't watch many Nope Explains because there was some things that I think can be interpreted.
Yeah.
But the shoe. What did you think about the shoe? So it's the first shot of the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was talking to it with Cam, and I like the idea of... Yeah, no, that is fine. And I kind of like that it's in his own head, that he's seeing this shoe upright. It's something that shouldn't happen.
Yeah.
It's total chance that the shoe would land that way, right? So I guess that speaks to, his feelings of invincibility.
Right. Yeah, I think it was just interesting because it's such a traumatic experience in the way even he is trying to exploit a traumatic experience into something that he gets paid for people to fucking. Or he holds it as a prized possession that he wants to show off to people.
Right, the little museum he's got in his office,
and it's something that I know fucking scarred him for the rest of his life.
Well, when we get that full scene and then it's shown that it's a memory, that he's thinking back on it, he's not squirming, cringing. He's almost thinking back fondly. Remember that time that I didn't die from that crazy monkey? God, I'm the man. And Steven Yeun, over the last few years, he has become sort of the man.
Yeah, but it's like when you look at his situation, he's just a wash-up actor who does a sideshow.
It's a fucking dope with that creepy ass.
Yeah.
Everything about that was very creepy. Although those icy machines look so good.
Cactus flavor, though?
I imagine that's sort of an apple green, I don't know if it's actually cactus, although they say cactus juice is pretty good. Good for you.
I wouldn't know. I thought it was just water.
But once again, Keke Palmer's character in this, she's just having the absolute time of her life, not only as the character, but as the actor. So it was really cool to see her kind of, I don't want to call it a second chance, but it felt like she was a big child star. She went away for a little bit, but now she's getting these roles where she is a leading woman. So, you have to credit Jordan Peele for putting her in this movie. I don't even think she auditioned. And she was a great lead character. Like I said, those two were perfect together as siblings, but her energy was just so infectious throughout the movie. And I think at the end, when it's up to her to get that final shot, when she's running around and she's letting go of the ropes, that one shot of the inflatable Steven Yeun looking at the alien with his winking his finger and shooting the gun, that is just burned into my memory. I think it's so funny. It was so epic, man versus nature moment. But everything about her performance I really loved.
No, I agree. She brought this energy to the movie that I don't think a lot of people can, and I think it...
Very natural, too. It wasn't forced whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't think the whole movie hinged on it, but I think it definitely elevated the movie.
Right.
Whereas someone who doesn't bring that type of energy or in a convincing manner, you would be like, oh, maybe there's something missing in that dynamic. But they really did feel like... I don't know, it felt just this closeness between them, even though they're such opposites.
And it was so satisfying at the end when she does get that shot and he appears when the dust settles on the horse with the orange Scorpion King sweatshirt. That moment just thinking about it gives me chills. There was a lot of movie magic to this. It felt like sort of those 90s blockbusters, like an Independence Day, even though it's a little bit smarter, where it is a movie where you get your big bucket of popcorn, you got your large Coke, and you kind of just lose yourself to it. And I think that's sort of the genius of this movie, is that there are layers that you can unpack, but at the end of the day, you can just enjoy it for what it is, as a full, complete film.
And the process was fun, too. Him figuring out more information on him just through past experiences, and his knowledge of wildlife and how you attain, like certain animals you don't look at, certain animals you have to. I still don't. That's the thing with the bear. It's like a black bear and grizzly bear are supposed to do two opposite things. I don't know which one's the right. So if I ever encounter a bear, I'm going to guess and pray for the best.
You better hope that shoe is standing upright.
Also pray for the bear.
Yeah. Well, okay.
Yeah.
It's going to eat you and maybe get a stomach virus.
But the way he's able to figure out that it's not an actual spaceship, it's a sentient being, I thought, and then just kind of getting that little information, then picking up, oh, you can't look at it and you have to go this way, and the whole setup. I love a good setup to a plan, but I think this one was done very well, because it was very much like they were trying to film a perfect scene, and you only have one take to get it, and that's essentially what that was.
Right, yeah, exactly. When you're out filming a movie, if you're on location, when they talk about the golden hour, you only have a certain amount of time to get these shots. And the detective aspects of them all, trying to figure it out, like you mentioned, the different types of predators you can tame and cannot tame. It's kind of foolish to do it anyway. You think about Gordy, that for many years he was probably just playing along. And that happens all the time, right? People think they have these relationships with animals and then they rip their fucking heads off. But naming each of the chapters after the horses was also very clever, because the actions of the horses kind of represented what was actually happening in the story. So that's why I found, man, people having issues with this, that the ideas aren't fully realized or there's too much to unpack. I didn't see that at all, man. I thought it was just very clean from start to finish.
Yeah, and I think even some things, like I mentioned before, with him trying to get the perfect shot and that being his demise. Then the TMZ guy thing, too, I thought was a little on the nose. And I think it was done for a comedic purpose.
You think it's on the nose, and then other people are like, where did he come from? What did he want? Who is he?
That's the thing. Like, with some reason with Jordan Peele, I think people, and I think it's warranted, but
they literally explain it.
Yeah,
they're like, TMZ is here.
But like, even going back to Get Out and Us, it's like, I feel like this digging, like people are just trying to find more and more and more and more of his movies, and sometimes, like, you're digging, you get your diamonds, and that's it. There's no more under there. Yeah,
they're thinking that. Yeah, it's like they're not even digging, or they're mad that they have to dig when it's actually not necessary to dig. The picture's right there in front of you,
That's what I mentioned before. That's why I'm not digging any deeper, because I don't want to get dunked on when Jordan Peele reveals that, like, no. I just thought that was a funny thing to put in my movie.
Like when the creature starts to transform at the end, and it basically becomes like a giant camera monster, right? It looked like it was snapping shots.
Yeah.
I don't need an explanation for that. It's just freaky. It's just cool.
It was elegant.
It was very elegant. It was very pretty, but you're still intimidated by it. And I thought the whole movie had a lot of intimidation factor when it came to Jean Jackie. You don't want to look up. When the characters did look up, you'd be like, you'd cringe a bit.
And I'm sure there are things we've missed too, and it's
found,
it's part of the fun, I think.
Right, and I found that a lot of people have been able to kind of more eloquently describe what the movie was about. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's similar to my explanation, but you said it better than I could have. Even that first scene when things start falling out of the sky, I saw a critic on Twitter note that, that's sort of the debris of Hollywood, because they're in, I guess, north of Hollywood. And I guess that's where all the waste that's where the wind blows it, right? So in the beginning of the movie, the father gets hit with a random quarter and it kills him. Once again, a once in a million type of thing, but it could happen for the worse.
Yeah. And then Jordan Peele will come out and be like, I was just taking a shit.
Yeah. The big monster was just throwing up. And that's what it was, know? But even that fucking scared me, because he gets hit. You hear it. You hear like, and then he's still on the horse. He's starting to trot away, and then he falls. Gets right into it.
Dude, I don't know what it is, if it's something aesthetically or if people have the same experience as me. When it's a small wound, I always find to be the most disturbing.
Yeah.
like that. I think it was just like a little thing in there, and that's it. Even in Django, I found Schultz's shot, that little gun and that little bullet right in the perfect spot, to be much more horrifying so he would just take out a shotgun and blow his head off.
Yeah, there's something about that. It shouldn't be able to kill you, but it does. It just pierces you, and that's it. And I think he played with it a bit there, where, like I said, he's slowly trotting away, and then he falls over, and his son doesn't even react right away because he's almost taken back. That's not something that normally happens, right? Or even, the moment when Jean Jacket just throws up all the blood all over their house. That was so fucked up. Once again, man versus nature. Everybody's huddled under the table. And this monster it's not there to, well, I guess it was in a sense trying to kill them, but more so just toying with them like a predator would do with its prey in the wild. And like you said, all the different plans that they come up with, and they have the big confrontation at the end, that was all shot so well, man. The shot of Daniel Kaluuya running away on a horse with the UFO behind him, that is such a great shot.
And even because that... Definitely, though, like some of the Western influences I really enjoyed. But like things, like even at the end when you think it's going to be another cliche, he sacrifices himself for his sister type deal. And it turns out that was the intention. Like, I would sacrifice if that's what it meant. But, he was still able to get out of the situation.
Right. Yeah, it ends up being sort of a happy ending for them.
No, it's not, because the internet's going to be like fake. Photoshop.
Well, it's all about selling it
CGI.
To a person that believes it's real, right? They're like, if it can be authenticated, you can get like $500K for it. So suckers born every day.
There's potential to retrieve that film as well.
I thought that was going to be something that happened where, okay, he gave his life, but the camera comes flying out and they found it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, okay, so this wasn't for nothing at the very least. But imagine if Teddy had just won that lottery. He's the person that would buy UFO photographs for $1 million. He would have his authenticator, which would be somebody suckering him, be me in a mustache. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, Mr. Mangione, that does look like could be alien. Sold.
This can't be CGI.
Can't be CGI. Can't be.
Yeah, so I found that, like, even in all going back to the well, like, I saw that. It was a fun callback from earlier in the movie.
I love that shit in movies, man, because callbacks happen all the time, and sometimes it's like, oh, that's obvious, but that one snuck up on me a bit. Like, yeah, they do establish that the well takes pictures. And it was difficult for her to get that perfect shot, but she does get it. You're on the edge of your seat hoping that she can get that perfect snapshot.
One perfect shot on Twitter would love this.
That's what I kept thinking while watching it, that this is one perfect shot, the movie. They're just obsessed with getting that perfect shot. And hey, it ended up being a pretty cool one, Jean Jacket posed for the picture.
What kind of money did they throw into that well? That's a crisp photograph.
Yeah, right. That's super high definition. It's 8K.
What was I gonna say?
Yeah, that whole bit with him with the rodeo was he was such a scumbag, trying to get what he, I guess, felt that, because so many of these child stars, right, they're in these shows, they're very successful, and then they sort of go away. So that's him trying to capitalize on that minimal success he had in the beginning,
right?
Holding on to it. So it's a bit pathetic. But from his perspective, he thinks that he's got it all figured out.
Yeah, I agree. That was just an interesting thing to just go have such a, I don't want to say it's a huge part of the movie, but I think it might only be 5 minutes of screen time, but I think it's some of the most, jarring moments of the film.
Yeah, the scenes with Gordy were very scary.
And the backstory relates to a side character. So I found that to be interesting, an interesting touch. Right. But, yeah, I think it all has to tie into just with, like what you said with Jean Jacket and some of the horses, too, his disregard for the horses towards the end, and compare that to Kaluuya's love for the horses and respect for the horses, and even see earlier in a Hollywood set the disrespect of the wildlife. So I think that all ties in, exploiting or taking for granted this magnificent animal that belongs in the wild, and you have it literally wearing birthday hats and entertaining humans.
Yeah, that's why this film is so good, because it is smart, but most importantly, it's enjoyable. It is a spectacle. And I love a good Bible verse to open a movie or to end it. I will cast abominable filth upon you, make you vile, and make you a spectacle. I was reading that that's one of the shortest books in the Bible. So I don't know how he managed to find that one. I guess with the internet these days, it's kind of easy to find a Bible verse that relates to whatever story you're telling. Or if you're Tarantino.
Christians have been doing it for years.
Good point. Tarantino, right? He's like, I'm a true Christian. I'll just make up my own Bible verse for Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
But that was, perfect. It lets you know right away what you're getting into. And I thought that one verse is sort of the perfect review of the movie. So I don't know if there's anything more you want to touch on, but for me, it's like I said, it's in my top 5. And I feel like my top 4, I always say this when we're sort of past the halfway point. My top 4 is going to be immovable.
Yeah.
But RRR, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Northman, and Nope would be my top 4 right now. And they're 4 of, like I said, my favorite movies that I've ever watched.
Yeah, it's tough, especially over here, because then it's like, especially ones that you watch earlier in the year, like after you end with January.
Top 6.
I still don't even know if Worst Person in the World counts as, but it got nominated for an Oscar last year. So.
Yeah, no, I don't count that. Yeah.
Yeah, it always confuses me. It's like 2022. It's like, but I saw it in 2021.
Yeah, saw it in 2021, and it was nominated for awards. I guess maybe because it got a sort of wide release, or as wide as it's going to get in the U.S.
There's still a lot coming out. I mean, I'm very intrigued with The Well. Everything coming out of that seems good.
We're going to talk about that later on this podcast. First look at The Whale.
And Sadie Sink, I think, with Stranger Things, is becoming a huge star. And that's kind of like, she's a late addition to the cast, but she's kind of taking off.
Yeah, definitely.
In the field, like more so in the field, but I feel like Millie Bobby Brown just a star in her own right, where she's kind of getting recognition. She's gonna be an Aronofsky film, and that's pretty fucking cool.
Yeah, I think David Harbour actually passed up on that, the Sadie Sink role first.
Oh, yeah.
It was going to be
Harbour and Fraser.
Creates a new...
Just 2 thick boys hanging out.
No, he was going to be playing... Well, yeah, he'd still be thick, but he was just going to be playing the teenage daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Dad, you left me for so long. But like I said, we'll talk about that a little bit later with Nash. But nope, check out my review on Letterboxd if you want to see my score, if you want to see my review. Very short.
Stopped putting up Letterboxd. Like, I'm going to go back to it. You just forget so many. You forget like 3 in a row. It's like, well, I'm not going to start now.
You don't think about well, apparently not, but I love the memes when it's like me thinking about my Letterboxd review halfway through the movie, and it's Homelander watching the movie at the first scene of season 3.
It just gets too much for me. I don't know. I'll get back to it.
Delete one of your other socials. Balance it out.
I'm really not a big social guy anymore. Twitter is probably my main. I think that's for most people, but yeah, maybe I'll...
Yeah, that's such a Twitter thing to say. Yeah, most people use Twitter the most.
I'll dip my toe back into
Twitter.
I'll dip my toe back into the Letterboxd.
Dip your toe.
Yeah.
All right, guys, that is our review of Nope, and we are going to get back to the podcast. I think we're talking about the Andor trailer. So,
did you do 4.5?
Bo, take it away. Yeah, I did do 4.5. Nice. You want to give your score before we go on?
Oh, for the movie?
Yeah, if you want.
I think it's fair. I'll go 4.5.
Cool.
Yeah, I'd probably lean towards 4.5. I want to see it again, to be honest.
I need to see it in IMAX at least one more time. All right, let's talk about the Andor trailer. This trailer just pissed me off because it's an era in Star Wars history that I'm so tired of. Stormtroopers, rebellions, the Empire's doing this. We need to stop them. Oh my God, how many times do we need to see this?
Yeah.
But the trailer was undeniably fucking awesome. Like, it looks like it's going to be the best Star Wars show ever just based on this trailer. And I know they've gone away from using those OLED substitutes for green screen. It's called The Volume. That's the company. That's how they shot Mandalorian. That's how they shot the Batman at times, even the new Thor movie. But for Andor, I guess they're going back to the basics, back to practical sets, locations, which to me is just... I feel like I'm losing my mind when it comes to Star Wars. This is the show where you spend the extra money to make it look real? Not Obi-Wan, which I didn't... A lot of people think Obi-Wan looks like shit. I didn't think that. I thought it looked fine. Mandalorian, same thing. But this looks better. And it's like, does anybody know what Andor is? Or who he is? You can't tell someone, yo, you saw the new Andor trailer? Even Star Wars fans are going to be like, remind me of who that is again?
Yeah.
Even in the trailer... Stellan Skarsgård feels like the main character. He got like 3 times the amount of dialogue in this trailer, which I'm not complaining about. I love Stellan Skarsgård, but I don't know. It feels like it's just,
well, it's either it's
indicative of the mess that Star Wars has become behind the scenes.
Yeah, and it depends what the budget is, but you could also argue just the people, the creatives involved. and that being their vision and how they allocate their resources.
Yeah, I guess.
Maybe they just like, okay, we're not spending X amount of dollars on CGI or the volume, or we don't have to pay Ewan McGregor all this money, so we can allocate our resources in a different way where we can afford to go practical. And that's just how it all plays out. But yeah, it is weird that this is going to, like, just from the trailer, but it does look like it's going to be the most aesthetically pleasing Star Wars properties that we've had on Disney Plus so far.
Okay, so it is, the showrunner looks like it's Tony Gilroy, who was obviously the director who came on to Rogue One to finish the movie. A lot of people say Rogue One is a Tony Gilroy movie, so it's sort of carrying over that aesthetic, that gritty vibe to it. But yeah, that is a good point. You know, Diego Luna has been around for a long time, so is Stellan Skarsgård, and a lot of people in this cast have worked in other projects, but there's no A-lister, megastar. So that matters when you don't have to pay someone $10-12 million, and then you can be like, hey, look, there's, you know, we can use this money on a robot or a cool planet. But like I said, it just pisses me off because it's not an era I'm interested in anymore because they've done it so many times. But I'm going to watch it because this trailer blew me away, dude. It's so gritty. Just the way they're talking about the war, it feels like an actual war, and I do appreciate when Star Wars does that. It is fucking Star Wars. You know, seeing Saw Gerrera back, Forrest Whitaker, he hammed it up in Rogue One, and his performance was a bit polarizing, but I love it when people ham it up in Star Wars. You could even see the twitch in his mouth. I call it, whoa. You know, he's just ridiculous.
Not bad. Not bad.
So, like I said, I'm so conflicted about this because I don't want to see another show or movie in this era, but I'm going to watch it. I don't know, Nash, as a non-Star Wars fan, what did you think about this trailer?
I was just about to say, it's very welcoming for me to discuss this because I have no fucking idea about Star Wars as it is. And then hearing you say, well, probably most Star Wars fans they won't get this trailer either. I mean, the trailer was okay. I mean, I guess it's just no personal attachment to me. It looks very, I guess, like very, you can see like the budget and all that stuff is probably all, like, explain to me, who is this person? What's his deal in this Star Wars universe?
Did you ever hear of Rogue One, the movie?
Sure.
That was a yes or no question.
Yes.
And you're sure made it sound like you were just brushing it off.
Okay.
He's arguably the co-lead of Rogue One. Maybe top billed supporting actor, but yeah, he was a big part of Rogue One. And he's kind of like this.
What's his angle?
He's obviously on the side of the good guys, but he's a little shadier, more back channels, a little more espionage. He has a robot sidekick.
Oh, that's badass.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he was a great character for that movie. But like, I think we all, when this was announced, were like, well, why?
To make a show about it, do you think it's worth it?
Trailer
alone or not?
No, before the trailer, I thought this was a colossal waste of time and resources.
Okay.
It was another like Bo said, just why are we stretching out this period of time where with this supporting character that, you know, really we have no attachment to and dies at the end of Rogue One.
Well, there goes that.
The first Star Wars, the opening crawl is a group of rebel spies have found these plans about the Death Star, and Rogue One is about those group of rebel spies. And when you are introduced to this character in Rogue One, he's shady, but he's also like a little fucked in the head, where he's been in the war for too long, and you know, violence is kind of natural instinct.
Right.
So I thought this trailer did a good job of showing, you know, why he would, you know, get to that point in his life where he's been undercover for so long. He's had to deal with all these sickos in the Empire, and it looks like they're really going to make the Empire just. They mentioned that they're getting fat. They're sucking us. They're squeezing us for everything that was sucking us. It's funny because you guys didn't acknowledge it. You just let me get away with it, but I couldn't let it go.
Us dry. I mean, that's like a thing people say.
That's what I was going for. Yeah, they're.
I don't know about that
dry.
terminology, but yeah, sure.
Imagine getting that double hand sloppy from the Emperor.
Doesn't even need to use his hands. You know, he's got the Force. But the actor who plays Qyburn, perfect look for an Imperial douche.
Good.
You like that. Looks like you'll be very satisfied before your friends arrive. But all the actors they got to play, you know, the white get-ups, the accents. Coruscant. Look, Coruscant. That's a familiar place, right? That's where all the Ewan McGregor money went to.
Yeah.
that you don't need to spend on Ewan McGregor. You get Coruscant. So, Star Wars fans, what is the Glup Shitto, right? That's the meme. Like Star Wars fans would be like, "Oh my God, that's Glup Shitto. We haven't seen him since Clone Wars."
No, there was a couple like of those characters, which I don't know how far after Revenge of the Sith.
This has to be pretty close to Revenge of the Sith, you would think, because the gap is 20 years, so it's got to be at least.
Yeah, I mean, this is an interesting period that I think like.
Yeah, it is.
Does warrant us spending some time here.
But this, I can't get over these stormtroopers, man. It's just at this point, you're not scary anymore. You're just annoying. Go away.
It is kind of like, and I think it's all happening so quickly that it kind of, like you said, it's very familiar, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. And also we're jumping all around. Like I get so lost in the timeline sometimes, where I have to remind myself where Mandalorian takes place compared to all these other spin-offs and movies. Like sometimes it just confuses me.
Yeah, no, it looks like the Mandalorian period, and I think that's where it becomes a little tricky.
But it's like way
even
before.
though I know that Mandalorian takes place after the original 3, I do. Yeah, you have to remind yourself a bit.
So this is more like Obi-Wan, that timeline, I guess.
Yeah, I guess even then you have to think about it. But yeah, no, it would be around that time.
Do the stormtroopers ever hit the range?
No.
Like, do they so they just give them a gun and say go out there? No practice. They
It's
never
sort of
give
like
them
Florida, like getting your gun registration in Florida.
Just anybody gets
It's
it.
just like, are you breathing?
Are-
You got blood in your veins?
Wait, you weren't born with one?
You have a gun already?
You come out the womb with a gat. You know.
I think the only time that's been poked fun of was in The Mandalorian when they're trying to shoot the target, the 2 stormtroopers, and they keep missing.
Or when someone accuses Bill Burr of being a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Or they question Bill Burr's accuracy. He's like, I wasn't a damn stormtrooper.
Yeah,
I miss Bill
mean,
Burr's character.
It's been years now, though. You know, like you would think maybe there would be one, like a chosen Star Trooper.
I mean, that's the
Stormtrooper,
biggest.
excuse me.
Like, that's the biggest L for Boba Fett or Jango Fett. Well, actually, Boba too, because he also comes from that DNA.
Yeah, that's why it's a little weird, especially with the sequel trilogy when they establish that they've been trained for a long, long time to be soldiers, and they still suck.
Awful. They need a new general.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like stop putting your good guys in situations where they should be killed. You know, just be a bit more clever. But I guess that's sort of Star Wars, right? Mm-hmm. You always escape if you're a main character. The Family Guy joke when he tells Lois to calm down. Yeah, it's like we have 4 of the 5 main characters on this ship. I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, but going back to the show, I mean, Rogue One, I think a lot of people look fondly on. Even some of the a lot of the Disney people who are not a fan of Disney Star Wars, I think, go back to Rogue One, and it's like that's probably the most enjoyable film for them since the acquisition, and I think it's up there for me as well. Like you said, with the whole grittiness and some of the war sequences, like with Rogue One, that was like one of the first not the first, but like I think it was such a huge part of that is it did feel like an actual war. Like, oh, Star Wars. It's not a one-on-one battle while everything else is taking place on the outskirts.
That
the
third
main
act
focus
is incredible.
Is the war on the ground, getting down and dirty.
Right. And a lot of those shots were shot from the perspective of soldiers on the ground. You know, when they're looking up at the AT-ATs, it's never an aerial shot looking down at all the action. It is focusing boots on the ground.
So a lot of, even the big, even in the original trilogy, the greater picture, obviously, it's a war, but like it always felt like a personal squabble. It's like just my group of friends don't like your group of friends.
And they put the emphasis on Luke, the onus on Luke. You need to take out the Emperor. Only you can do it.
Yeah.
Or else we'll lose.
But Rogue One was like, okay, yeah, these rebels got troops. They got they're gonna go and fight against your troops. It's not like
different cliques per se.
It just felt like it was more on the ground.
No, there was there's an actual siege. And the thing that Aaron said, all the main characters in Rogue One die. None of them make it out alive.
Damn.
So it's... And then there's that great Darth Vader scene at the end. That's not a war scene, but once again, he just shows up amazing. And he's in like 30 seconds of the movie and he shows up and kills a bunch of fools. And everyone in the theater's cheering for the villain.
Like even on the...
Everyone's like, yeah, Darth Vader, Space Hitler.
Like even when Luke's fighting... SH. That's a big one.
SH.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, even when Luke's fighting the Vader and he's in the throne room with the Emperor and Han and Leia are doing their thing on the ground, it's just Han, Leia, and Chewie with a bunch of extras.
Yeah.
So like,
and that's often the most criticized part of that movie is them on the ground with the Ewoks.
So it's
Everyone's
like, well, even
what
the
the hell is
soldiers,
this?
it's like you don't really feel like it's a war. It's pretty much these group of characters we know just trying to get this mission done.
I think the best war sequence in the original trilogy is that final space battle with Lando leading the ships into the Death Star. That's the most where it feels like. And Empire Strikes Back, it is way more personal. It is about one man's mission to find his son, and Luke's mission is becoming a Jedi, understanding the past.
Hoth is a good sequence too.
Yeah, you know what? Fuck. I need to take that back. Hoth is the best war sequence. Just looks so pretty.
Mm-hmm.
They need to do a show about the Star Wars bar. Do it like a Cheers or kind of like a Always Sunny.
I think that would be
or
so funny, dude.
Yeah.
Even if they did like a mini series,
right?
Like 4 or 5
like
episodes,
like
the
a limited
Cantina.
series.
Yeah.
It'd be hilarious.
I actually don't hate
Kind
that
of
at
get
all.
that like a rated R too.
That's actually one of my
It'd be very funny.
like in the Cantina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I was disappointed when I went to Disney. Like they have Olga's Cantina. I thought it was going to be like the one on Tatooine. That was a weird place. Did I ever tell you the story of the person choking and almost died?
This wasn't part of the bit. They weren't working for Disney. They were just
no,
almost.
it was just a patron, and no one knew what to do.
Did it kill the vibe? Did as soon as he was brought out of the room, did everyone go back?
No, because the bartenders are so in character.
Oh, God.
Like they're making like a speech about like the galaxy, and this guy's just fucking choking across the bar.
Sir, can you quiet
And it
down?
was something where it's like, you know, when someone chokes, you want to like be like, "Oh, you okay?" And it's like, no, I'm just like, you know, swallowed my drink wrong.
Yeah, sometimes it went down the wrong pipe.
Yeah, you don't want to embarrass the guy.
But he was actively kept going. His family surrounding him while like they're doing this little skit.
What was he hacking on?
I have no idea.
Did they eventually stop the skit and get this guy assistance?
No,
they couldn't break character.
They didn't break character once. If you ask them like, "Hey, I have my appointment to go build my lightsaber." It's like, well, we don't use those words around here. You want, but I think you want to go to the scrap metal shop, and that's over there.
So you were talking to an NPC?
What was that? What?
A non-playable character?
Pretty much. I actually like it because it's very inclusive and makes you feel like you're there. Like even the stormtroopers that walk by, they won't locked in character the whole time.
You didn't lower shoulder on one of them? Show them New York style.
No, they saw my lightsaber and they're like, "What's that?" And I turned it on. It was red. They're like, "Oh, you're one of us."
Oh,
Like, hell yeah! I'm like, even if you shot
Only
me,
two
you would
sips.
miss. But they do have this one drink in the cantina that you drink and it makes your mouth numb. That's like the gimmick there.
that can't be healthy.
It was a weird feeling.
Do they have death sticks?
No, you can't smoke anywhere in that fucking place. You gotta
Okay.
leave. It sucks.
Oh, I guess that's what death sticks are, huh? They're cigarettes.
I guess. That's what I always thought.
George
they were.
Lucas is a funny man.
You couldn't rip a heater in there?
I smoked. If anyone wants, you know how they have the TikToks? It's like 5 places to go eat when you're in Disney.
Yeah.
I could make one, and I know like all the 6 spots to rip a cig. I don't know if that's a cool thing, but like I think
it's sweet.
I think it's pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
I should have eaten before this podcast. My stomach is howling over here.
I heard that too. I heard that.
Got some leftover pork chops, though.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
All right, so but for the Andor trailer, I think that pretty much wraps up all our thoughts. We're excited, but also frustrated. Good trailer. We'll see how it goes. September 21st, I think this comes out, the first 3 episodes.
Yeah, I'll definitely watch it, and if I like it, I'm not gonna like poo-poo it for any reason. But it's still like Andor. That's what you're doing.
Yeah, let me know how it is.
Andor, it's such a whack name for a hero. Cassian Andor. That's a
Cassian.
name. Yeah, why not just call it Cassian Andor?
Just Cassian.
Yeah, Cassian. I wouldn't hate that. All right, let's move on to U.S. weekend box office. So our number 1 winner was DC League of Super Pets, which came in with 23 million. Number 2 was Nope, so it dropped down 1 spot with 18 million. Number 3 was Thor: Love and Thunder with 13 million. Number 4 was Minions: The Rise of Gru with another 10 million. And Top Gun: Maverick is just the consistent top 5 movie of the summer. Made another 8.2 million.
The movie was fantastic.
Oh, you saw Top Gun?
I did.
Incredible, right?
Oh, it's so good.
Was that 8 million?
Another 8 million for Top Gun.
I was shocked.
It's at 1.321 billion. So 1.3 billion, obviously the biggest movie of Tom Cruise's career.
Yeah. It's not like, obviously, it's not nowhere near the Avatar number, but it kind of reminds me, if you go back and look at those Avatar box office week after week, like even 10 weeks out, just a consistent flow of millions of dollars. Insane.
It is insane, dude. For a movie like this, you know, it's usually franchises that make this amount of money. This is like a Black Panther, Iron Man 3 type of number. It's just absolutely massive. And at this point, you mentioned it a few weeks back, it just checks off so many boxes for audiences. Everyone can go and see this, from, you know, kids that are 5, 6, and 7 to the oldest people that you can find. You know, everyone, there's something for everyone in Top Gun Maverick. But Super Pet's coming in at number 1, not a surprise. You know, it's
pleasant.
I've heard good things about it. Yeah.
Pleasant.
So that was, I think worldwide it's at 41 million. And Nope worldwide is at 80 million now. So off of a $68 million budget, we'll see if that can, I definitely think that's going to go over 100 million.
Now, I got a quick question. It kind of is off topic, but not really.
Though.
Yeah, no, it has been compared to his first 2 efforts, definitely.
So with Top Gun, apparently, like, Tom Cruise made like $80 million off like this movie alone, right? So now the whole report that has come out with Sydney Sweeney saying that she can't afford to take off like months upon months because she can't like afford anything or whatever. Mm-hmm. How truthful is her statement when you, I get it. Top Gun is, I mean, did like close to like $900 million in the box office, right? But realistically, how much do you think like an actress like that makes?
I think it's not.
Sydney Sweeney?
Yeah. I don't think it's a lot. I think it's a lot less than people think. Obviously, she has other endeavors. I think she's the model, right?
Right.
So, like, she definitely has multiple sources where she can get income from. But I think people think, like, big Hollywood actors
of course
are rolling in it. And I think a lot of supporting characters or supporting actors don't, especially early in their careers, they don't get that much money. Think of it. She's on an HBO Max show, which, I mean, obviously that's like some of the peak of television, but, you know, Zendaya is getting most of that budget that's allocated towards actors. And, so, like, I think a lot of people were too negative. It's like, oh, you're big, living in Hollywood, like, cry me a river and whatever. But realistically, yeah, I mean, if you have to be in LA, you have to live in LA, which is expensive as shit. And, you know, I don't think not everyone's getting these $1 million contracts to do series and movies. So.
I just with her, because I mean, all over social media, she's there.
But she is a big name in social, but you know, a lot of people don't really monetize that correctly as well.
Right. No, just curious. Because I'm like, well, she might be telling the truth kind of here, because like anything other than Euphoria, the only thing I've seen her in was Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and she has like a 2-minute scene.
Yeah, so she's not like I think most of her money probably right now is just from modeling.
Right.
And this is kind of, you know, a lot of people even say it too. It's like when actors first join a big Marvel project, look at Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans were getting paid and compared to what they're getting paid now. So it is a process, and you kind of have to climb that ladder. And Tom Cruise definitely has in his contract that the more money this movie makes, the more, and you have that power when you're Tom Cruise and you've been in Hollywood for decades.
Yeah, and before I get some Neanderthal in the fucking comments that's saying I'm linking Tom Cruise and Sydney Sweeney together, that is not it. I was just asking a question because you see reports like that, and then you see it from the other side where she says that she can't even take off like a month or two without, she would be broke. So just a question I threw out there.
I think with that lifestyle and your image, you have to kind of live a certain way.
Correct.
So it's like, obviously you don't have to live that way. You can live in a studio apartment an hour from Los Angeles, but that's also not...
Or live in a Winnebago.
Too realistic.
She's also a rookie, so for her, it's like, listen, give it 10 years, and then you could take... Because her exact comment was, I can't even take a 6-month break. And it's hard for people to feel bad.
Like,
right.
But I also don't... the whole point was I work nonstop, and I've been working my ass off for years to get to this point. I'm a bit burnt out. If I wanted to take a break, I couldn't afford my bills.
We couldn't either, so, obviously that's, that's part of it, but I think...
She's like, I can't wait to become, when I'm 30 and I'm sitting on a $50 million net worth. Yeah, I'll take half the year off, spend half the year in Greece.
Mm. But that's you have to... what's expected, what most people think. Right. If this story came out and...
It's like with rappers trying to create an image of wealth, and then, they're getting fucked over by the recording companies.
Right, and who's like, if this was, let's even stick in Euphoria, a character with the same amount of...
Go ahead.
a character with the same amount of screen time in that show, I haven't watched, so I don't know, but another supporting actor, if they came out and say that, I think people would be like, someone who doesn't have name recognition.
I'm drawing a blank, but Hunter
Schafer.
Yes, Hunter Schafer. Let's say Hunter Schafer.
Or even somebody on I don't know, who's like the 7th lead on Better Call Saul, or I don't even know which Sydney Sweeney is in the hierarchy of that show. But like, if they came out and said that, I think people would be like, oh, like, maybe adjust salaries for actors. This actor doesn't have to make all this money, but she's such a popular in the news cycle all the time that people are like, I think the criticism is heightened by that. This was a Marvel movie, and let's say Colby Smulders came out and said she can't afford to do this, and I think the narrative would be, oh, but look at, you paid Chris Hemsworth and Robert Downey Jr. $30 million. So I think...
Well, that was when it was revealed what Robert Downey Jr. was paid for Infinity War and what Scarlett Johansson was paid. They were the 2 highest paid actors in that movie, and they're like, oh, look at the disparity here. It's like, well, look at the disparity between Robert Downey Jr. and Mark Ruffalo.
Yeah.
One is the star.
Yeah.
Mark Ruffalo's a name.
But I think people also
B-lister, but
would be quick
not everyone's Robert Downey.
Attack her and be like, oh, like... not realizing your privilege, or when it's the situation's flopped and it's not that big of a name, who's still probably doing well too, I think then people would be like, oh, well, then why is this person getting so paid when these people can't afford to live, pay their bills? So I think it depends on who the actual person, the specific individual that's being pointed out, but...
I'll tell you what, not on the outline, but a great conversation.
Good conversation. That's what you get with the Nerd Soup podcast.
That's
a little improv, a little off the cuff.
Mm-hmm.
But let's get back to the stories here. We're jumping into the first look at Brenden Fraser's...
You think she'll like me?
No, probably not.
You think she'll hear this?
Sydney Sweeney, big Nerd Soup fan. I'm just waiting for someone ultra famous to be a fan, because we've got some celebrities who do actually listen.
Hey, come visit.
Basically 2.
Yeah. You don't think she'll listen to this? Be like, wow, he supports me so much. I'm gonna text him.
Now, fall in love or just come hang out? That's a huge difference. You guys are gonna go on vacation together when you're both big, or
no? We'll just see what happens.
Cuddle. Well, speaking of big, we got the first look at Brenden Fraser in The Whale, and this was it was just very professionally done. That's why I called you off guard there.
Oh, I was going to say, quick on box office. Where's
transition.
Elvis? Was that ranked? Or was that out of the top 5 already?
No, it's out of the top 5.
I saw it last week. My theater was pretty packed.
Oh,
I was surprised, yeah. I actually had a nightmare about Tom Hanks, I swear to God.
Oh, yeah.
That's the Colonel. The more I think about that role, the more I love it.
Elvis was actually number 6.
In the worst possible way.
Yeah.
Not good enough to make the outline, kid.
Elvis, my boy. And the weird thing is, I'm watching an Elvis documentary right now, and you hear voice of Colonel Parker. Sounds nothing fucking like that. So that was a creative decision of Tom Hanks to just do this weird Danish accent.
That's how you get those Oscar noms, baby. Weird accent, bodysuit.
I'm not the bad guy.
Look, Brenden Fraser, once again. Now we're going back into this. 3rd time's a charm. He's obviously not... didn't gain the weight for this role. He's got the bodysuit there. Critics are a sucker for that,
I mean, this screams an Oscar nomination. Just the storyline, and
I hope so.
It looks like an interesting concept, to be quite honest.
The Mummy franchise was one of my first franchises I really enjoyed when I was a kid.
Tarzan?
I watched The Mummy back a couple of weeks ago, and I just fucking love that movie. He was such a big star.
Oh yeah, dude. And
George of the Jungle.
Oh, yeah. George. Yeah, one of those guys in the jungle.
George of the Jungle always reminds me of the ketchup they made that was green. Remember the green ketchup Heinz used to make?
Purple,
I remember
green.
eating a burger with green ketchup watching George of the Jungle.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember the green ketchup?
No green ketchup.
I thought you were you don't remember my memory. What type of power do you have? What are you fucking telling me?
I remember the fun ketchup.
No.
I remember all the other childhood-defining memories, but not that one.
No.
Yeah, the story of this instantly reminds me of The Wrestler. Same type of story where it's an absentee father trying to reconnect with his daughter, played by Sadie Sink.
Makes sense.
Talk about another social media star.
Yeah, that's what we were just talking about on
buzz.
the Nope review, that, her star is really rising.
I'll tell you what, even Brenden Fraser on social media, he seems to be the social media sweetheart.
Well, I think a lot of people feel the same way about the Mummy movies that Aaron does, and me too, and probably you, that there's a lot of nostalgia there. And I think he had this movie star quality that's missing from a lot of stars these days, where he could be charming and handsome, but he was also goofy, didn't take himself too seriously. So a lot of people are rooting for him. When this story dropped, I saw a lot of friends on my personal Instagram share it, like the post, like, oh, okay, Brenden Fraser's back doing movies again. His supporting role in that the last Don Cheadle movie, I can't remember the fucking name of it, directed by Soderbergh. He was really good in that. He played this mobster, same thing, heavy set. And he was great. Didn't have a lot of screen time, but he really stood out. And I think this has a chance, like I said, similar to The Wrestler. If it's up to that quality, it's going to wreck me, because that's a movie that's really hard to watch for me.
Yeah. Well, all of his movies are kind of... I mean, it makes, like, he did The Wrestler also, and coming back with this, I think it can kind of hit a lot of those same notes.
Spiritual sequel, as I'd like to call it.
Yeah.
And it's his first movie since Mother.
Which you hated.
Was that the movie we saw in the theaters in the trailer? And you're like, yeah, I know what happens with that already. I think it was when...
No, that's a different movie. That was the movie with the where the pregnant couple gets the nanny, Charlize Theron.
Yes.
And I was like, that's definitely a younger version of herself. And it was.
It was, right?
Yeah, it was.
You nailed that.
Yeah, no, that was just...
Wow.
Well, that was just too obvious.
Yeah.
But
this is reading up on this, the storyline behind it. Like I said, this seems like an Oscar-worthy movie with just the plot and A24 and Brenden Fraser. And what I wanted to say about Brenden Fraser before too is he kind of had that period where he was kind of like laughable. Like I almost feel like he was a butt of every joke. He had the weight gain and all that stuff. So like this movie coming from like a body image standpoint, might hit home a little bit. And the storyline about a gay man choosing his lover over his family, and I feel like Sadie Sink has that. I don't know how to describe it. It almost seems like the Stranger Things. She'll do that, kind of be like the nasty in the beginning, but then we'll get along with him. I just feel like that's coming.
Yeah, it's going to be up and down. And
right.
I'm sorry.
Right.
I hate you.
But it almost seems like the
I'm
perfect
sorry.
casting for something like that.
Yes. Yeah,
right?
Definitely. I think and like you said, with him becoming sort of a punchline in Hollywood, where people are. What happened to Brenden Fraser? Why doesn't everybody look like they're 25 forever?
Right.
He's aged. He's
because
gotten older.
he had a natural progression of what people do that aren't in Hollywood. He's somebody that, like you said, such a big star, kind of embodied that like himbo persona earlier on with those Mummy movies, being the goofy but an actual sellable star, into kind of obscurity. That's kind of sad in its own right, but I don't think he really... I'm not to say he doesn't care, but I think he's very grateful for these opportunities he's getting more recognition. He's very humble about it and appreciative with this. I hope he gets an Oscar nomination, but also going to be in a Scorsese movie. So it's kind of like a cool story in its own right. Just seeing this, it's like I laugh because like thinking back to like the McConaissance, but like Matthew McConaughey was always just like he was always there. It's like he started doing
this
better,
is a true renaissance.
better movies,
Yeah.
but he was still getting work and in the public eye. Like Brenden Fraser kind of just like disappeared for a little.
Yeah, with McConaughey, it was more like, oh, he's good.
Yeah.
He was a huge star from the rom-coms, very successful, very rich.
And credit to Brenden Fraser for being in, what's the name of that movie? With the,
While you look that up, I just want to say, it seems like this almost reflects on Adam Sandler a little bit. Adam Sandler had that star rising, goofy. Then he had the fucking terrible movies. He fell off, was laughable for a while. His movies suck. And then it almost seems like he came back with Uncut Gems and he became a star again.
but he was still always in, like, his movies still sold and made a shit
Right, but
ton
he was
of money.
gone for a little bit. He had like a nice little, like, a few years where I feel like he was not doing anything.
It was Bedazzled, by the way, which I think one of the best anyone who's ever looked at a movie is Elizabeth Hurley in Bedazzled. What a film.
You think she's listening and she's going to try and cuddle?
I wouldn't even... I would be like, no, you're too good for me.
God, you're so good looking, I'd give up red meat for you.
What's that?
Seinfeld?
No.
Well, also,
I'd give up red meat to see you in a bra. That's what he says.
the topic around fat phobia has become there's so many angles to it. I got a lot of pushback when we were talking about Stellan Skarsgård as the Baron, and I said, why don't you just hire a fat actor instead of putting somebody in a suit? There are fat people out there. And the comments section were just taking me to task. Not necessarily saying I agree with it, and I felt like, oh, I was wrong, you guys are right, but a lot of, being fat's not healthy, you should allow people to transform in their roles. It's acting, that's part of Hollywood, and it's just like, well, I saw a tweet the other day that a lot of people who are overweight, they'll go to the doctor, and the doctor will say, listen, there's actually nothing wrong with you, you just need to lose some weight. And then a couple weeks later, something was actually wrong with them, and they find themselves in the hospital because the doctor didn't want to take the time to thoroughly examine them because they just chalk it up to, you're overweight, you need to lose weight. So I think the conversation surrounding this movie is, like I said, it's going to be like the conversation surrounding fat phobia. It's going to have a lot of people screaming at each other that this is exploiting fat people or this is celebrating fat people. So I guess that's what art does, right? The conversations around it should be interesting.
It is a conversation that I think you do see, like, even in comments of just random videos where someone's a little overweight, or like, I think there's a thing where you could be like, oh yeah, maybe that's like not healthy, and maybe make some adjustments to like just be healthier. And I think that's thrown out a lot too. But also the other side of it is like when we talk about someone who's like depressed or has anxiety as a mental health issue, a lot of problems, and I think this movie is probably going to dive into that. Like some people, it is just an addiction, or it is something where it's part of their mental makeup where it's like, oh, just eat salads and run. It's like some people just can't do that.
Yeah, it's the equivalent of, oh, you're depressed, go for a walk. Get some sunshine.
You're depressed, smile. Be happy.
Yeah, smile.
Yeah, I've tried that, and it doesn't work. So yeah, I think it definitely is a more nuanced issue than just, like you said. And also, counter argument to it's acting, look at Tom Hanks in his fat suit and tell me that's not the most fucking distracting thing you've ever seen on screen.
Like everybody expects everybody, like all these actors to be Christian Bale. Like somebody, or Jonah Hill.
That is a good point, yeah.
Like it... people don't want it. Sometimes people go to that weight and they don't lose it, and it's very hard for people to lose weight. And, reading up on what this movie's about, he ends up binge eating to get rid of his depression because he loses his, his lover, and that is a problem for people. And, the shows that I hate that everybody seems to love is like My 1,000-Pound Lover or My 1,000-Pound Sister. Like, just putting something like that up is just like, I can't, they're not doing anything to help them. They're just doing it for ratings. And it's just like, they don't even care about that individual at all. It's like, all right, well, once the ratings are done, okay, well, now you go figure out your health problems.
Dude, it's even like for the game shows where they're like, this could be life-changing money, and one person wins and all the rest of the poor people just go home.
Yeah.
It's like, we're just giving away money, but you have to perform this stupid task, and then it could be change your life. And the other four people are like, oh,
I'm just happy to be on.
Yeah, right.
I'm just happy to be here. I'm going to go back to my shitty life.
Yeah,
my mortgage.
It's sad, man. It really is. I hate that. I know people that love that show, and they say even in this movie too, he gets to 600 pounds.
Yeah.
Imagine like.
But also, that's not like if you can sit there like. I think most people will sit there and be like, oh, how could anyone even get to that point? If I tried to get to 600 pounds, I couldn't do it. There's just something genetic, a lot of genetics play into that.
Right.
And even just...
A lot of people have a wall.
Yeah. And then, like...
Because I've eaten like a man that could...
Oh, I've hit my wall.
I've hit the wall. Yeah.
I was a big boy, don't forget. And, like, my diet, if I look back on it, like, the fact that I couldn't get past, like, a certain point just, like, says, like... Because I just ate like garbage and shit and unhealthy, didn't move and do anything, and I still got to a point, but like I think that was the highest I could just get. But
and you don't even realize it in a moment. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, I was happier than a pig and shit.
Yeah, seriously. You're just chilling, and then it's just when you get that brutal friend that just comes up to you.
Shower, get ready to go out. Like, oh, I look fucking sick.
I remember, I remember after like COVID, we're out in the backyard, and this guy that I haven't seen in a while, I was like, wow, fucking COVID, you got that COVID weight big time. Yeah. And everyone started laughing. It was just like,
that's mean.
Fuck. Well, sometimes you need that though. Some people take that approach differently, and I don't agree with it. But that's me. I like the negativity. I like being put down. It motivates me. I don't know. I don't like compliments. It makes me weird.
Got that dog in you?
Something like that. Sure.
But yeah, like it's a lot of like definitely like other factors play into that. So it's just
But 600 pounds.
That's big. Yeah, it's big.
That's a lot of eating, man. I could touch 200. I'm 175 right now. I could touch 200 in 2 weeks because I morph.
And I forget who mentioned it, but as you get older, it does become harder to lose weight. Mm-hmm. And I think society is way too hard on women because it's biologically harder for them to lose weight as they age.
The prime example that I always think of is when they used to say that Demi Lovato was quote unquote like overweight.
Well, some of the men that I've heard that are our age talking about women's bodies, it's like, whoa, I really hope you keep that to yourself and never tell a woman who looks that way that she's fat, because that's pretty extreme.
And it's crazy because our youth and our beauty only stay for a certain amount of time, and that douchebag guy that wants a skinny, perfect, model girl, like that guy is always going to be a douchebag. The girl that's always looking for a guy that's 6 foot and has money, well, I'm not saying this as a petition, all right, as a 5'7" guy, but she has a nasty person. I get that we all want to
quickly turn back to his own thing. It's
no, but I'm just saying, you're always going to be a douchebag.
Those girls who find out you tell
women on
you
dating
are and they
sites
don't text you back.
That is a big complaint, the women saying, don't.
We all have our preferences, though. I get it, but it's just like you're always going to be a douchebag.
But watch the scene at the end of Call Me by Your Name for anybody who thinks that way. I think that scene puts things into perspective.
What?
When he's talking to his father and he has the lines. We've seen the movie. Mm-hmm. I can't do Michael Stuhlbarg.
I could do him in Doctor Strange too, though.
That's just too good of a scene, man.
2 seconds.
And he got that and credit, which is highly coveted. All right, let's move on to the last story here. We're talking a little Rocky news. We'll make this a short story because it's just kind of two celebrities beefing like celebrities often do. So Sylvester Stallone got wind of this planned Ivan Drago spin-off movie that would feature Dolph Lundgren reprising his role as Ivan Drago. And he took to Instagram to just absolutely slam this idea, calling the producers bloodsuckers. The exact quote is, "Return my rights, bloodsuckers." And Dolph Lundgren responded and said, hey, there has been talks, but there's no producers, there's no directors, no writers, and I assume that Sylvester Stallone would be involved. And Stallone, as of right now, hasn't responded back. So, yeah, there's just a little Hollywood beef here.
Like a good Hollywood beef.
I'm not opposed to the idea of a lot of these movies have been good, man. When you start to really just dissect the Rocky franchise and the Creed franchise,
I think Creed's been awesome so far.
More good ones than bad ones. At this point, it's maybe Rocky 5 and
3.
Rocky 3.
4 is critically panned, but I think if you
you can't deny 4's impact.
If you walk down the street right now and ask everyone their opinion on Rocky 4, everyone would be like, "Oh, greatest movie."
It's the best one. Yeah,
right. You know why? Because it brought America together.
That was the last time we were truly united as a country. When Apollo Creed came out in the red, white, and blue shorts, listening to James Brown.
He just got murdered by a Russian.
Throw the towel, Rock. Throw the towel. I mean. But again, it also comes down to, is there any original thoughts anymore? Are we doing this? Like, they're like 85 ready to fight. It's like, drop, and you're not even really fighting. You're fake fighting.
Well, the end of Creed 2.
Oh, also they're trying to, okay.
Yeah, all right. No, because Drago's son was in Creed 2. Did you see Creed 2?
No, I did not. I'm sorry.
And it actually has a pretty good ending. They did a good job of subverting a lot of people's expectations of how this rematch would go. Because obviously, Creed is Apollo's son.
Right. Correct.
So, there's the history of Ivan Drago killing Apollo. But I thought it wasn't as good as Creed 1, but it was a worthy successor.
Yeah.
And I'm still excited for Creed 3. But, Sylvester Stallone, he is getting up there in age, so I imagine that any Rocky movie that does come out, he wants to have a hand in. And this dispute that he's having with the producers, the producers that he called out by name, have pretty much produced every Rocky movie. And he still seems a bit bitter that he doesn't have any ownership stake in the character. He's so synonymous with the character.
Well,
but he sold the rights. I know. It is what it is at this point.
Right. It's like George Lucas coming out against Disney when it's like, well,
how much did he sell those rights for?
$4 billion taste.
Rights to Star Wars?
No.
Well, I think he kind of gave up the rights when he initially sold the script to the studio.
Yeah.
Oh,
so that's his baby. Like, that's something, and really got him, I don't know, how old was he when Rocky came out?
But I think 76 now. That came out in 75. So
I could look that up real quick.
It's got to be, late 20s, right?
But he was a struggling actor, trying to make it and made his own thing and basically propelled him to superstardom. So it's definitely a personal thing to him. But like
29.
Wow.
It's like when it is a weird, because like I understand him being upset. Not upset at Dolph because, like he said, it's like he probably just thought he was involved. It's like the Agent Game's like, hey, they're doing a great.
Well, he
spin-off.
did call out Dolph on Instagram. He was like, you think you know your friends?
Which is like,
you think you know your friends?
Yeah, that was probably more accurate.
Hey, yeah.
Which is like ridiculous because he's probably just like, okay, yeah, I'm sure Sylvester is a part of it somehow. Like, okay, yeah, if it comes to pass, sure, I'll do it. So I think going at him was a little absurd, but like being upset at the producers, yeah, I get it, but like you said, that's what happens. Yeah, like you said, it's like George Lucas getting mad at the new Star Wars. Obviously, you can be like, I would have done things differently, or this is not the route I would have went, but at the end of the day, it's not yours anymore. You sold it, so...
I was just thinking, I'm thinking of
showbiz, baby.
Yeah, I'm thinking of it as Bo gave up the macaroni for Aaron to cook, and Bo's mad at me for eating the macaroni that Aaron's cooking. That's perfect right there. That analogy.
Why would you get the macaroni? In this scenario, you're just a freeloading...
No, Jesus, no, I'm Dolph.
Yeah, he's Dolph in the metaphor. I got that.
Yeah, I'm not a freeloader.
Yes, you are.
You're the producer.
The ingredients. I'm cooking. Unless you're doing the dishes, you don't deserve any food.
What the hell is Dolph doing then? A freeloader?
No, he's being paid to act in a movie or potentially star in a movie.
All right, so I am testing your cooking skills.
I think
I just had an epiphany.
The metaphor was more so I can't be mad at Nash.
Thank you.
I can be mad at you.
You're just you're a freeloader.
Even though I really couldn't be.
I'll take it. I'll take
you just
both
convinced me not to be a socialist anymore because you don't deserve dick.
All right. Hey, that's what I'm here for.
You don't deserve dick.
Yeah. Wow. You just ruined...
So no dick or no macaroni.
You ruined...
Last night you wouldn't even talk to me.
You freeloading? You are Dolph because you're a freeloading commie.
Oh my god.
Well, there you go. Let's move on to fan questions.
So is that what we got out of the Rocky script?
Yeah, you radicalized me, you son of a bitch.
That's for the fan to decide.
Yay! People, you call up to the show, you better be ready. That's what you're supposed to do. Sitting there arguing and you're trying to spell your name and all of this other stuff. It's not your show, it's my show. I'm giving you the opportunity to speak your mind. Don't call up here unless you got something to say.
Okay, let's go to some fan questions here.
Hit it.
This one here from Nelly. What do you think about the Roy Kent is CGI theory? I think it's just hilarious, actually. And it's kind of, I can never watch Ted Lasso now without looking at Roy Kent and thinking, is this man CGI? Is he actually human? There's a Ted Lasso. Have you watched Ted Lasso, Nash?
No.
I think you'd like it.
Yeah. Apple TV, right?
Yeah, Apple TV. There's a supporting character who's one of the best characters on the show, probably the funniest character. But his movements are so stiff. Everything about him is so stiff and uncanny a bit. So there's this theory that he doesn't actually exist. He's just CGI. It's just something to play with, and he plays with it as well. He always talks about that he's a robot. So it's funny. It's one of the funnier fan theories.
Well, in Thor,
look at that.
He really he is CGI, pretty much.
Yeah, no, that he went and just became CGI.
But yeah, no, that's funny. The Roy Kent is.
Doesn't he look like a GTA character?
He looks like what's that show about the hitman?
Barry?
Not Barry. Back in the day. It was also it was Showtime.
The Hitman. Ray Donovan?
Ray Donovan. Kind of looks like Ray Donovan.
He's got a Ray Donovan.
He's got a Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
But yes, he does look like
he could be Ray Donovan.
He looks like he's on a GTA home screen that you look at for like 2 minutes, and then the girl with the cell phone comes up.
Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah, sure. But yeah. So what? They fuck around and say that he's CGI.
We didn't talk about this.
Fun little theory.
Did you see people complaining that GTA is woke?
Oh yeah, because now you could play as a female character. Well, the new one, GTA 6.
It's like, tell me how have you ever played a GTA game?
Yeah, it's that meme of, wow, I could kill people, and it's all the commentary going over their head about American society.
The internet cracks me up sometimes.
Tidal wave of filth.
Well, so, yeah, like someone said, and it's so true. Like if in Return of the King, the line "I am no man" happened today, it's all you would fucking hear about. You know how many YouTube Disney's like Lord of the Rings gone woke? It would just be fucking insufferable.
I always say on the podcast that GTA is taking so long because the writers said they don't know how to satirize society anymore, that the world's become too ridiculous. That's been the whole point of GTA.
Yeah.
It is literally a satire. Oh, God. It makes me want to, I don't know, throw up? That'd be
Not
gross. Teddy, this question here from Teddy Nerd Soup. Why didn't you enjoy The Gray Man? I thought it was entertaining. That question pissed me off so much because the fact that he watched The Gray Man before Mission Impossible made me text him. And,
that is insulting.
He's got a response.
But that's quick. That's very much sitting on the couch, long day with the baby. They're putting their feet up, looking on Netflix.
I fucking knew the baby was going to be an excuse for everything.
Like, this looks good. Like Chris Evans. Yeah, you like him, right?
It's such an excuse, though, because that would have
saying
been
that to the baby.
No, to his wife.
I thought he was saying that to
Big
Amelia.
Evans fan, Amelia.
Oh, you like that?
You love Jessica Henwick.
Or this is another thing. It's like, oh, we want to put this on. It's like, oh, I love Chris Evans.
Whoa, you better look at me.
What are you talking about? What? It's just a mustache?
Yeah, but I got a better body, babe.
I feel you guys are burying the lead. Ryan Gosling's in this bitch, too.
I think Chris Evans is taken over as like the
pretty boy.
No way.
I think if you put it like Chris Evans is like
on Twitter, maybe, but
yeah.
in the real world,
yeah,
we're all Gosling girls.
I'm a Gosling.
Keep it up, babe.
I would do anything that man says. I would join. If he did a little cult, I would join. But I think the ladies they're like the Chris Evans, which is
nothing. A little cult as a treat.
What?
Little cult as a treat, right?
Yeah. I would just,
it's not a big cult, just a little cult, just me and a few friends.
Yeah, we just hang out and drink beers with Gosling.
That was a classic, like, early internet meme of Gosling saying, like, "I'm proud of you, girl." Mm-hmm. Remember the Gosling study meme when he had the glasses on?
No.
You guys don't remember that?
No.
Google that. You'll have fun with it.
I like the Gosling not eating won't eat a cereal meme. That was funny. Then the guy died who made him, and then Gosling ate cereal in his honor.
Wow, that started off confusing, then it became tragic, and then it wrapped up nicely.
You ever seen the vines of the guy trying to give the screen Gosling on screen cereal, and he wipes away on screen and drops the spoon?
Right.
It's when comedy was comedy.
Oh, I miss.
His shtick
woke
never gets
culture
old.
ruined comedy, huh?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So The Gray Man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, The Gray Man I thought was
horrendous.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty terrible, and I'm starting to I think more highly of Feige now because of the success of those Avengers movies.
Oh, you know what? I'm such an idiot. It's Ryan Gosling.
Who do you think we're talking about? Reynolds?
Yeah.
That's why
people love Reynolds.
That's why I was like, I'm kind of ending the shtick, and I was thinking in the memes, and I'm like, well, his shtick never gets old, Reynolds, and I'm like, wait a minute, but Gosling doesn't have a shtick, and I'm like, I don't remember any of these memes.
Call it a shtick. It also hasn't gotten old.
Yeah,
he's a good actor, great leading man.
I think he's gotten even better, Gosling.
Well, I have so much respect for Gosling because he's picked so many good roles. You know, traditionally the leading man is kind of splitting his time between a little rom-com, a little blockbuster, and yeah, I'll do these prestige dramas, but Ryan Gosling's like, I'm going to do Blade Runner 2049 and it's going to flop, but I don't care because I'm Ryan Gosling, and I'll get the call for Ken, and I'll get the call from Netflix for The Gray Man. I'm all right. Mm-hmm. I could take a 6-month break. You'll be there soon, Sydney.
Ooh, damn.
Now she's gonna. Now she's. You're done. Nice. I just ruined it for you.
No, I still have her back. So like.
Okay. I'm not invited to the wedding.
Yeah.
Tragic.
I don't think we would get married. I feel like that wouldn't be our vibe.
I feel like you guys would do like a beach wedding, right?
No, we would just like. We don't have to get married.
Don't you have a girlfriend?
Yeah, but that's fine because it's Sydney Sweeney.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. I don't blame you.
And she literally tweeted that she would fuck Chris Evans. That's why I said Chris Evans is the guy now.
She said that?
She didn't say it in so many things. Remember when Chris Evans was like, oh, I'm looking, like, I need someone to settle down with?
No, I don't remember that.
That was big news, and she volunteered for that, so.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that he just went on a press tour with Ana de Armas and he's tweeting that, I don't know.
She's been in her bag lately too, man. Good for her. Went from the Affleck to Chris Evans.
We didn't. It's like, what the fuck? We didn't even talk about the Marilyn trailer. So this question here from Matt_Samson1. Thoughts on Ana de Armas as Marilyn Monroe from what we've seen so far?
I haven't heard anything. I've just
Did you
only
watch
seen...
that trailer?
No, I didn't even know there was a trailer, to be honest.
I'm starting to feel like it's a gimmick.
I saw the stills.
Maybe not the film itself, but like the NC-17 and Netflix not wanting to release it. Now they are going to release it, so let's play into that. And it's Marilyn Monroe. I don't know.
Well, Dominic, the director, Andrew Dominic, has a good track record. So I tend to almost lean towards your side, where even the way he talks about this movie and the way they're promoting this movie, it's just like, okay, we get it, that you're different and you're going to embrace the sexuality of Marilyn Monroe. But a lot of fans have been not so happy with that. They want the movie to kind of focus on Marilyn Monroe, the person, because she has been so sexualized, not only when she was alive, but after her death. She's still kind of the it girl, the standard of who's today's Marilyn Monroe, or, oh, Marilyn Monroe, she broke so many, she was a woman who was a woman.
She's very much an American icon, which confused Jamie Lee Curtis when Ana de Armas got casted.
Oh, God. Talk about things you need to just keep to yourself.
I'll ask about that later, but you know what's bullshit?
The biggest, no one asked you.
Well, it's one of those where old liberals think that they're so accepting, that they're open-minded.
Yeah.
Like, oh, someone from a different country can be smart.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or
is that what she said in so much words?
Well, she met Ana de Armas and she was like, oh, I just assumed that she was uncultured and not sophisticated because she comes from Cuba. That this was her first time in the film industry shooting Knives Out.
Yeah.
Ana de Armas has been in the industry for 15 years prior to.
Oh my God!
Out.
It reminded me of what was another one?
She speaks 4 languages.
Yeah.
Just spent a summer
blindly
in Paris.
racist right there, huh? All right.
I'm not a racist anymore.
It was Liam Neeson when he had that story.
Yeah, let's not even go down this road. Let's just right. Yeah, things you keep to yourself.
Well,
I think she'll be all right. I mean, some people were saying that it sounds like it was a bit difficult to get past the accent, and that happens sometimes. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's something that's going to necessarily take me out of it, because Marilyn had that distinct, the talking like this and very
lustful.
High. Yeah, right. As long as she kind of captures the essence of Marilyn Monroe, I think I'll be satisfied. And then it comes down to if it's a good, enjoyable story. It's not just Oscar bait.
She looks great, from everything I've seen as Marilyn, but we'll see.
Speaking of Marilyn Monroe, the rumor around Hollywood was that she used to stink very bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Oh, you brought this up, right?
Yeah.
We're talking if, a girl that attractive, you want to talk about Sydney Sweeney. Let's say Sydney Sweeney came up to you and she stunk
like
low tide. Low tide mixed with cat litter.
I mean...
Mixed with old Chinese food.
Oh.
That's been out for 3 days.
Well, that's...
And had shrimp and you reheated it.
I don't think it was that bad. I think she just had a little BO to her.
Yeah, but, I mean, if it's a legend that people have been talking about, it must have been pretty bad.
I think...
I mean, let's...
R.I.P., but yes.
Yeah.
R.I.P. to Marilyn, but, there'd be something you'd have to address later, hey, babe.
Hey, you want to take, a bubble bath or something?
Oh, you know what you're trying to say? We should
but then you're laying in the filth.
Spicing things up a little. It's why don't we just, shower together? That's hot, right?
Or why don't you do, the Viagra commercials with the 2 separate bathtubs?
Yeah, it's you missed the spot. It's why are you more focused on my missing spots and getting hot and steamy? It's no, just real quick.
I just want to touch every part of you, babe.
Yeah.
Something like that. But then also, you know what I'm pissed off about too?
But she was a big eater in bed, which I'm totally pro.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I'm against.
Nice.
I'm against both of these things. She just keeps... I don't like this. I don't like that you guys keep telling me these facts about her.
Also, is Joe DiMaggio in the movie?
I think eating in bed is pretty dope. You don't, I think it shows character. The more crumbs you have in your bed, it just shows, it's a little...
Eat in the bed, but make sure you're clean.
Just do a quick wipe.
Yeah, all right, fine. But is Joe DiMaggio in this movie? Or somebody that plays Joe DiMaggio? Because somebody... I shouldn't say somebody.
Arthur Miller's in it, and he's played by Adrian Brody.
A lot of people say I look like Joe DiMaggio.
It's already shot in film, so...
Which is bullshit. That's what I'm trying to say. It's bullshit.
You think
I could have played DiMaggio.
Reshoots that.
And I mean, DiMaggio looks like he was...
Nick Kroll could probably play him.
Dipped in some kind... Let me talk to you for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, DiMaggio looked like he was dipped in radiation.
Oh my God, like Harley Quinn?
Yeah.
That's why he was fantastic.
But he
at
hit
baseball.
safely in 56 straight games.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, you know who's playing Joe DiMaggio? Wow, they didn't cast someone ugly at all. Bobby Cannavale. Yeah.
Oh, Maryland, I got a game later. You can't come up here stinking.
And then when he leaves for the game, she's going to be like, "Where'd you go, Joe DiMaggio?"
Jolton Joe has left and gone away.
And then Simon and Garfunkel would be in the back like,
But it doesn't even really look like DiMaggio.
Did he die when that song came out? Was he dead already?
no, he was alive. I think Joe DiMaggio lived until the 90s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 99.
So that'd have been pretty fucked up. Like, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio? And it's like, oh, he died.
Come on.
Yeah, no, there's a...
Come on.
But
I could have played DiMaggio.
You look like a better looking Joe DiMaggio. You like to do it to put yourself down, but you kind of resemble him. He looks like you drawn from memory.
Yeah, but I
like
can't do 6'2".
He's arguably the greatest Yankee of all time. That's a topic for another.
Yeah, well,
But he's on the Mount Rushmore for me.
As far as the movie, I just hope it's just not like, like you said, just overdoing the sexual aspect of it, which I have no problem with. But like that being the only value to your movie. It's like, oh, look how much I pushed the line when it comes to the sex. But that's the only thing. That's my only artistic touch on it. Everything else is just bland and unappealing.
is Nancy Reagan going to be there?
Oh,
yeah. You want to talk about that? We could do a separate movie with that. Nancy Reagan.
we just
whatever.
talked about it, didn't?
Yeah, that's why
shit.
I broke that
Yeah.
news to you, right?
Yeah.
You didn't know about that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it kind of refreshed my memory, but still, either way, yeah, we could watch a separate movie on that.
Yeah. Screw Marilyn Monroe. Nancy Reagan
It's where it's at.
coming fucking stinking like a cesspool.
Oh yeah, you know what? And now the new pictures with Pelosi. I mean, I'll take a movie with her too. You know?
You better hope she makes it back. She's in a walking the tightrope right now.
Yeah, in Taiwan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. But I mean, once they see those things, that's going to join the world
China's
together.
been building up all their missiles, and we just sent 2 of our best. That's not making the final cut. That's a shame. We'll just keep the laughter. This question here from Mike_Lombard. What's up, Lombard?
What's up?
How do you feel about the Yankees' chances this season? Are we winning it all?
No.
Yeah, I think for like the last 5 years, I've predicted the Yankees are going to win it all every year. So now that we are best record in the league, we still have the best record,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little scared. I'm a bit more wary because I've been so optimistic in the past, and now everything's going as great as it's been since 2009, and it's like it's not going to happen.
Well,
Because I'm anticipating it to happen, so that means it's not going to happen.
there's just too much, too many
Breaking news.
Ooh.
Yankees are trading Jordan Montgomery to the Cardinals for Harrison Bader.
Seriously?
Yeah. Phillies just got Noah Syndergaard.
That's a pitcher or a batter?
Outfielder.
That's a little... We have to be getting Pablo Lopez then, right?
I would think so.
Well, it's 6:02, so...
Well, something must have... Oh, my God. Really? They got rid of Monty?
And we don't need an outfielder.
Yeah, I mean, we just got one. That's fucking wild. Well, anyway, I was just about to say about the Yankees, just too many obstacles to overcome. I mean, Houston they probably had, besides the Padres, the best trade deadline, getting 2 Yankee killers in Trey Mancini and Christian Vasquez, and then getting one of the best relievers in baseball, Will Smith. We can't beat the Astros. It's been proven over and over again. And even if we do...
I know, that's the other thing, is that the Astros keep beating us in the regular season.
Right.
They keep beating us in the playoffs.
And this is arguably their best team that they've ever had.
Right, so there's
even
no
with
evidence.
Correa, So, again, I want to be optimistic, but at the same time, and we addressed everything that we needed. We needed an outfielder. We got Benintendi. We got that guy, the reliever from the Cubs who's pitching a sub-3 ERA, sidearm guy. It's nasty. And then, we got Montez. And now we got Harrison Bader. I don't know what the logic behind that is, but... whatever.
And Montgomery's hasn't been, he started off really strong. All the pitchers
Stanton's going
did.
to be out for an extended period.
Which is not a fucking
that
surprise.
would not be good. Yeah. That guy's always fucking hurt, man.
And the thing with his injury, not to cut you off just real quick, it wasn't supposed to be that long.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he played through the All-Star game hurt. They were supposed to give him the day off. Then he was hurt. Then they said he was coming back within the week. And now with his injuries, he's going to be gone for the month or an extended period of time.
I'm not
having such a
scared
good year,
of the
too.
Astros. I think it'll be a good series, and I don't think we'll blow them out by any stretch. I'm scared of the Mets.
Oh,
Really?
God. I can't think about the NL.
I'm just saying, like, if
You're
we
thinking
make
about
it there,
the top of their rotation?
I don't think they lose in a series when you have Scherzer and DeGrom if they're both healthy pitching like they can.
Well, that's a big if.
They're built for the
About
playoffs.
DeGrom.
He's about to come back.
Coming back, so
Tonight.
I mean, you have to get out of the AL before you worry about the NL. And if it's the Mets versus the Yankees, losing to the Mets would be devastating. If it's the Mets versus the Astros, let's fucking go Mets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And if
And
it's
I
the Mets
like that
versus
Mets
really
team.
anyone, yeah.
I like that Mets team, man.
I think I would root for them over the Orioles. I mean, not the Orioles. The Mets and Red Sox. No doubt about it.
Oh, yeah, that would be.
Maybe even the Rays, but the Rays are such a...
Well, I fucking hate the Rays.
Oh,
I just hate the
Rosarena, I would
division
love
teams.
them. Oh,
What?
I hate the division teams.
I
I
just
never
hate
really had a
Rosarena
hatred.
and Kiermaier.
Toronto maybe more so, but to the Rays and Orioles, they have just been...
Well, their fans suck.
Yeah.
That's why I hate the division teams. We are the biggest target on our
They've
back.
helped us more than anybody.
Yeah,
well, not
that is true.
the Rays have been really good as of late, but like growing up, the Rays were just a
Yeah, they've been
punching
horrible.
bag.
Remember when they had Longoria? Those teams were good.
Yeah, Longoria used to be a beast.
Yeah.
They've been really good, but I just don't have that same hatred to the Rays as I do like the Astros or Red Sox.
Yeah, the Astros were. I think I hate the Astros more than the Red Sox.
It's so funny when you said that to me a few weeks back, and I was like, "You're only saying that to get back at Boston. Like we don't even hate you as much as we used to.
right.
We hate the Astros
They
more.
have so much real estate in my head; it's insane.
No, I can't stand Boston because Boston's the rival. You know, there's with the Astros. I guess it's like I don't respect the Astros. I'll never respect them because of what they did. You know, no matter who they put out there, it's always going to bother me.
Yeah.
Just seeing that jersey, seeing that team, and how arrogant they were after they got caught. That's the thing that pisses me off. But you know,
And the one guy that was most arrogant about it is gone. Correa was always the one
Right.
you guys don't know what.
And he's
fuck
wasting
happened.
away in Minnesota. So
Yeah.
that's perfect, right, for him? Because just sent out to die.
Blue Jays got Whit Merrifield.
Blue Jays.
Would you look at that? All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Nerd Soup Podcast. For Aaron and Nash, I am Bo Oliver signing off. Like we mentioned, we have a lot of Patreon reviews coming up this weekend and Batman v Superman Revisited. So you guys know how I feel about that movie. Should be fun. Thanks, guys, for joining me, and we'll see you next week.
Yeah, if you listen to the full podcast, tell me a game to play.
Is that Teddy or Sylvester Stallone?
I do a better Sylvester Stallone being Teddy. It's pathetic.
I'd love to see that biopic.
Yeah.
What's the guy in the Mario games? Damn, we were making some good points in that video. Hey guys, Aaron and Nerd Soup Monkey here. Before we end this video, I want to give a quick shout out to our Patreon supporters. What can I say about you guys that I haven't already said about myself? You are the most important part of the channel and the main reason we keep going strong. Like Bo says, you keep the lights on in the fridge, so the fridge is full. Or something like that. So, from everyone here at Nerd Soup, I'd like to thank you guys for your continued support. If you're interested in joining the ranks of our Patreon supporters, head over to patreon.com/nerdsoup and check out the rewards we offer to our patrons. We recently dropped some new stickers for you guys to check out, or you could choose a tier that will allow you to select a movie, show, or video game for us to review. We've got a full slate of fan-suggested reviews coming your way, and we're really excited about the chance to review some of those movies and shows. We've also got t-shirts, mugs, behind-the-scenes videos showing how we bring our videos to life. And once again, thank you to all our Patreon pledgers who have been supporting us throughout the years. Without you, we wouldn't be able to convert all your pledges into cryptocurrency, so thank you from my future self for making us rich.